All right, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 1986 Mazda Rx-7. Up front is a 1.3 liter naturally aspirated rotary engine, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. If you'd like to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive. But let's get back to that 1.3 liter rotary engine. Well, it is not a piston engine, and that's what the Rx-7 is known for. It has two rotors that spin on an eccentric shaft, and that's all there is for moving parts in a rotary. This one redlines at about 7,000 RPM, but the engines have way more potential than that. And of course, it is naturally aspirated, although they did offer a turbo model. I'll leave a link at the end of the video for a Turbo 2, which is the turbo version of this car, which I filmed last summer. Now, I've filmed naturally aspirated rotaries, I've filmed naturally aspirated FCs like this before, but there's two reasons I'm doing this review. First of all, this is one of the cleanest FCs I've ever driven or seen or been around, and this has back seats, so we can actually do a backseat review in a second gen Rx-7. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. Nothing too crazy here. It has a decently long throw. FCs definitely would benefit from a short throw shifter. And last but not least, the Rx-7 is rear wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of different gauges. On the left, I have oil pressure, coolant temperature, battery voltage, and fuel. Then in the center, I get my giant center mounted tachometer, which I absolutely love. I think it's super sporty. I think it fits the car really well, and most rotaries do this. Then on the right, I have my speedometer. Nothing crazy there. On the steering wheel, I actually get two buttons for the horn. That is it. That's all I get. To the left of the gauges, I do have a couple different buttons, but the one that everyone cares about is the headlight up and down dial, which obviously triggers the headlights. On the door, all I have is a lock switch. This car has manual windows because this actually was a base model. A base model luxury, so it did have air conditioning and the seats, but we'll talk about that stuff a little bit later. Up on the dash, I do have what is known as the idiot cluster. This thing goes bad quite frequently on these cars, so if you have an FC with a working cluster up top, these are your warning lights, definitely preserve that. But I do have a digital clock, which likes to work and then not work and then work and then not work as well. So that's something to definitely look for when you're looking at an FC. Then I have my heating and air conditioning controls, as well as two vents. Nothing crazy here. They're from the 80s. They're very basic. Then the radio's been switched out because the factory radios are not great. Then I have an ashtray, cigarette lighter, and then we get to the shifter. Like I said, the shifter feels good. It does have a decently long throw, but I don't mind it too much. Then I do have my little center console. This is where I actually adjust my power mirrors. The seats are pretty comfortable. I really like second generation Rx-7 seats. I used to own a second gen Rx-7 and I miss the seats dearly. I think they're a lot more comfortable than the ones in the first generation. But speaking of seats, let's do the thing we came out to do, which this is a 2+2, so we will do a back seat review. Oh God, ow. So here's the situation we're in right now. The seats actually touch the ones in front of them, so there's no hope of me actually getting this driver's seat up. As you can see, my head is absolutely smashed. I can kind of lean it back here. I do have seat belts, surprisingly enough, which are these like giant boxes I'll show a video of. Horrible back seats, but it's cool that these even have them. They're real deep buckets. I know it probably looks like I'm getting like raptured right now or something, but I'm just trying to sit normally so it doesn't hurt, but it's gonna hurt anyway. So the back seat gets the double thumbs down, but double thumbs up for uniqueness. So that's kind of neat. Now the nice thing about the back seats is you can fold them down. I was slightly hesitant and I was like, well, I would like an FC with a back seat because it's cool, it's unique, but I lose so much cargo room. That's not the case. You really don't lose any cargo room because you could fold the seats back down. The only thing you do lose is that normal FCs without back seats, they have two giant storage bins behind the seats, and you don't get that here in the FC with the back seats. Now we have to talk about the looks with the FC. The car looks great. I like the color. A lot of the FCs came in this color. These are the stock wheels. Everything about this, the looks wise, it is completely stock, and I really like it. It's so 80s, it's so retro, and of course, Rx-7s, they're just my favorite. So now as we get to the end of the review, let's talk about a couple reasons why you might be watching this video. Reason number one, you want to buy a second-gen RX-7. In that case, a couple things you should know. You should pre-mix your gas with two-stroke oil, about an ounce every gallon. If you do have a working OMP, which stands for oil metering pump on the engine, you can do about half an ounce a gallon, but really you should just block that off and pre-mix an ounce a gallon. Let the cars heat up, let the cars cool down. Don't run them too hot, don't run them too cold, and at least once a drive, rev them to redline to stop carbon buildups. Second reason you might be watching this video is because you have an FC, or you have an RX-7, or you have a Rotary, and you just like watching Rotary content, which, thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. I really do appreciate it. Now, the third reason that you might be watching this video is because you fell asleep, and Google Autoplay has now brought you to this video. So, headphone users, please turn down the video now, but if you are asleep, I hope you're awake now. But guys, I'm on a back road. I'm actually following my friend who's in my RX-7, my first gen 13B swap. There's actually a 69 Camaro up in front of us. And so if you excuse me, I'm going to have a little bit of fun in a second gen RX-7 because that is what these cars are meant to do. The second gen was more of a cruiser. They're comfortable, they're longer, they're more spacious, but they're still sporty. You can still have a great time in them. And that is what I plan on doing. And if you own an RX-7, that's what you should plan on doing as well. So thank you so much to Alex for letting me do this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. Aside from my soul. There goes a